Welcome back to the second to last Bassmaster Open Pros Pick'em for Lake Champlain. A lot of things shook up last week. The last show, Todd Castledine just basically straight up dominated all the people in our group.
Really, I just dominated Matt. I got in his head. It took a little bit longer than normal.
We're not recording yet, are we?
Oh, yes, we're recording.
Oh,
we're recording already?
What the heck? What happened?
I was about to leave too, Ish. Don't worry.
The system got I'm even in the computer's head and
you live rent free in the computer head and the Matt's head at the same time.
Absolutely.
Two different places. You're multitasking.
It's almost getting ridiculous.
It's right there. No, and we're coming up to Lake Champlain. We got 2 events left: Champlain, St. Lawrence River, back-to-back weeks, which leads me to tell you all that we're going to do a live show for the final Bassmaster Open Pros Pick'em next week. We don't have a day set. It's probably going to be Tuesday, but we don't have a time set as far as exactly when it's going to be. So you got to make sure and check out all of our social medias to see when the show is going to air. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be.
I can just give you my picks now. For that next week if you want.
No.
St. Lawrence River.
It'll be a really easy one, though. I have a feeling.
It will be. Well, it depends on what group everybody's in.
It depends on if you're going to pick your buddies or actually pick other people.
Hey, my buddies are solid fishermen, and they've got me in the 91st percentile.
I know your buddies really well.
Keep picking them.
He's going to pick them this week.
Well, hey, I ain't gonna lie. There is one guy, and we're not gonna mention any names yet. That's not my buddy that I picked, and he's actually going to be a surprise pick this week. And you guys might be shocked, but
I hope it's in the E bucket. I hope it's in the E bucket.
Let's see. No, I think he's in the C bucket. The C or the D bucket.
Well, without further ado, let's get some picks in. But that's fantastic. And per usual, Todd Castledine, how about you lead us off in group?
I always lead us off because Matt's so scared about me copying his. But I don't understand this whole argument about me copying him when I beat him every year. How can I beat him every year if I copy him?
It's true.
But
very true statement.
I will say this. This is Brian Schmidt. Brian Schmidt, he's just, I don't know what it is. He gets it up there, and I'm learning some stuff about. I think Champlain is a different animal than a lot of these other smallmouth lakes because I think spots and areas matter more. Is a big deal.
Yes,
and, I think. And Brian Schmidt, one already knows it, but then has a buddy who does really well up there too. And I think they share some info from years in the past. So and that guy's not in this tournament. So he's top 5 fisherman in the world. So I think that helps. So I'm picking Brian Schmidt.
Who you got, Panger?
Well, Brian Schmidt would make total sense to pick since he has 3 top 10s in MLF with a BFL win on Champlain. He has 7 top 50 finishes this year. He's coming off a top 5 finish at St. Clair. But I would like to refer all 3 of you to an article just posted in the Press Republican on August 15th that featured Brian Schmidt talking about the upcoming Lake Champlain event. And there's a little piece of information in here. There was a lot of strong rains and storms that came through that area, and it jumped the water almost 3 foot. So we haven't seen Ticonderoga play as much as it has in the past here. I think this is going to be a largemouth dominated tournament. The smallmouth will still play, but I think because of the vegetation that is up, there's a little quote in here from Brian Schmidt. It says, "Tie, the narrowing lower end region near Fort Ticonderoga with vast fields of shallow vegetation and shoreline cover fishes more like a southern largemouth."
Can we have your pick, please?
Greg Hackney.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
Just get straight to the point.
I could have guessed that one when you started saying the water came up. What do you got?
Hey, I don't think Hackney's going to – I bet you Hackney doesn't even go to tie.
I don't think he will either. That's the part about it is Ty is dead. Ty's not been a factor.
Ty is not dead-ish. You have not been doing your homework. There's been local tournaments that have been taking mid-20s to 26 pounds. We've seen several 7-pounders come out of Ty. Hackney is trending upwards. He's in the top 10 of the Angler of the Year. He has an outside chance to make it. His last 3 tournaments are 25th, a 17th, and a 9th.
Hackney's not going to run the Ty.
9th in 2017 on Lake Champlain.
He's not going to Ty.
He's still going to top 10.
I'm gonna make a phone call. I'm gonna find out.
Phone a friend, please. Phone a friend.
Oh, I'm gonna ask him. Are they practicing right now?
Yes.
Oh, I'll leave them alone.
Ish, who do you got?
I'm going with my bud. I'll let you guys. I'm going with my buddy. He can catch smallmouth. He can catch largemouth. He can do it both. I mean, he's probably one of the most well-rounded anglers on tour today. If we start getting into stats, he has multiple Angler of the Year, multiple title wins. He fishes good on smallmouth fisheries. He fishes good on largemouth fisheries. Brandon Polinick, Whiz Kid, the prodigy is my pick.
I mean, it does have a win there. It's hard to argue that, especially on Champlain. I'm kind of torn on this pick because I have a couple of people that are just eating at me. One being Joey Cifuentes. I know the guy's coming off a win at St. Clair, but he has become such a good forward-facing sonar angler. And using forward-facing sonar, he is very adept with a drop shot, and he's really good with it. And so I'm leaning towards Joey Cifuentes. But one other pick is Koyo Fujita. I mean, the guys, he just catches them whenever he has to use that stuff. And then obviously Polinick. I'm leaning right now Cifuentes for sure for my pick, the Cowboy from Arkansas. Once again, has been there quite a few times, fishing in his FLW days, and he's just good with his stuff. So, I mean, just like Schmitty, he knows the areas of the lakes that are going to go down, and I think he's going to be able to use this forward-facing sonar. And actually, a really funny thing, right before we got on, I looked at Instagram, and he posted a video. He says the first time he's ever had it done, but he was reeling in a smallmouth, had another bait just hanging over the side. He's fighting the smallmouth, and another one came up from that fish, ate his bait off the side of the boat, and ripped his rod in. And he actually has a video of it while he's live scoping his rod going up and down with that smallmouth still attached to his bait going up and down, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, he probably won't even be in the tournament anymore because the internet trolls will see that, and he was fishing with 2 rods, and they want to disqualify him, and so he probably won't even be in the tournament, Andrew.
That's probably, I might have to change my pick. So
you might have to.
Door for that.
Yeah, the internet trolls. Oh my God, he had 2 rods in the water. He was practicing with 4 forward-facing sonars at the same time. Joey's a cheater. Blah blah blah. No, that's He's not. He's a good dude.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. And Panger, how about you go Group B? Just leave us there.
Didn't pick him last week. We should have. So should you, Andrew. But Coop Galan, I know, spent a lot of time practicing for these northern fisheries. Very familiar with it. Got a lot on the line too, based on where he is in the Angler of the Year standings. I think Coop has a strong tournament here.
I like it. What do you got, Ish?
Spike, Anelli. Come on now. If anybody's got more history in this tournament on that fishery, it's that dude right there.
That's not true.
There's somebody that has more history on that place in there. Who?
Yeah.
Who?
He's in Group C.
Who?
He's in Group C.
Who?
He's in Group C. We'll get to Group C when we get to Group C.
Who? Say it now. Who?
Scott Martin.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Scott Martin.
More history than Mike on that place.
Scott Martin's won 8 FLW Tour events, and 3 of them have been on Lake Champlain.
Doesn't matter about that. We're saying history on the place.
Well, I
Do
think
you
3
hear the
wins
words
is
that
some
are
pretty
coming?
Deep history.
Mike has a win on Champlain as well, but Mike's fished Champlain more than anybody that's in the field. That's what I was getting to, Panger.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Get to your stats, Panger.
I just did.
That's not the stats that, once again, Mike has more history
Wins don't count as stats. Sorry, I didn't get that memo.
Wins don't count as history. Yes, he's fished it a lot.
How does wins not count as history? They're literally history. The win is part of the history.
Yeah, but Mike has more history on the lake. Do you understand the words?
Yes,
no,
days
history.
On the water.
History. Mike's fished more tournaments. History. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Okay, I won't disagree with that because he's from that neck of the woods.
That's what I'm saying.
Scott
so
Martin
that's what my point is. I didn't say more wins. Once again, did I say more wins? No, I did not say more wins. I said more history on that place. And so
that's fair.
I am picking my good buddy, Ike and Ellie, who has probably got more top 10s on Lake Champlain than Scott Martin. And actually, if you want to talk about wins, let's talk about how many wins. Mike actually probably has more wins, not tour level wins, but more wins.
The Tuesday nighter out of Ty?
Doesn't matter. You said Ty's gonna play.
You mean like back in history when he had more Tuesday night wins?
Yeah. Hey, how about this? He has more wins, period, on Lake Champlain than Pangrac has in his whole career.
That was just unnecessary.
I would
like to point out that.
Stop bringing up history, Ish.
Hey, by history, I just said Mike. It is history. He wants to go there. I'm going there. But Mike, I'm just saying. So I'm picking Mike. Andrew, who you got?
Well, I don't know if I can follow that one up. I don't know this person's history on the water whatsoever.
On Lake Champlain, his history. Does he have any wins on Lake Champlain?
I don't know.
Okay, just making sure.
But he's become a smallmouth guru at Clark Windlet, and I really think Clark Windlet is going to have a good tournament. He's at 1.3% owned, and I just think he's going to have a good tournament. So, and I need to catch up. So, I'm going Clark. What you got, Todd? I
know how to do good in the last part of all this stuff. I know who to pick. So this is a no-brainer. I pick the smallmouth guys, and it carries me to the top, just like it did last week. Chris Johnston. I don't have any stats. Don't really care. He knows how to catch a smallmouth. I'm just picking that. He has more history of catching smallmouth than anyone.
Don't bring up history, Todd. Don't bring up history.
Hey, and I might add that you actually you have Seth Fider as well, which Seth has always had a really good history on Lake Champlain as well. I fully expect.
But Seth doesn't have any wins on Lake Champlain, so but he has history. He does have history.
History there, yes. Made lots of histories. So I fully expect him to have a good tournament. So let's go Group C ish. How about you lead us out there?
Well, I did pick Scott Martin because
oh, come on.
Because
if you say the word, I'm done.
Because of his wins on Lake Champlain, even though the majority, I think 2 of the 3 wins have come in the spawn there, and they're not in the spawn. Is that correct, Pangrac? That
no,
both of his wins were in spawn?
2 have come in late June, and 1 was in July.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then he went. Granted, I've known Scott for a while. I know that a lot of the times the spawn has played in almost every one of those that he's won.
Even the July one?
Huh?
Even the July one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he has bounced off a couple places that he's always caught him off of. The last time that he went there with the elites, he struggled a little bit, but he was on a really good pattern. I talked to him after the event, and it just didn't work out. But I think you're right there. I think that's a good pick, honestly.
Yep, I'm going Scotty. Scotty.
What about you, Todd? Who you got?
I'll say this: maybe all year long, this might have been the hardest group.
Yeah.
Because for the first time, I think there's like 7 guys that can catch him.
Yes.
I want to pick Paul Mueller so bad. Like I could pick a Corey Johnston, Jamie Hartman, Austin Felix. I mean, but I did have Scott on there, and just because I know the spawn did play, but it's Champlain. When we were all up, I kind of learned some stuff up there that like these key areas. That place is so big that I think a lot of these areas you just kind of have to know, and if you know them, and like Smallmouth fishing. I don't know. I picked Scott just because of what he's done in the past.
Yeah.
His history.
Oh, I didn't say it. I didn't
You
say
wanted
it.
to. You wanted to.
I
You
didn't
wanted
say
to.
it.
You wanted to say his
Yeah, I
history.
didn't say
You
it.
wanted to say his history.
So I went Austin Felix. Austin Felix is such
That's a good pick.
solid smallmouth fisherman. He's been there a bunch of times. I fully expect Austin to have a good tournament. And let's just go ahead and say he had didn't he have a car wreck leading up to the last
a city bus rear-ended him in Chicago.
Oh,
so
God.
So that was leading up to the last event, and he's still top 10'd it, right?
No, he didn't make the cut.
He didn't make it, but he was right there though.
Nah, he had a bad second day. He had he didn't flop it.
He didn't flop it, no. And if history tells us anything, I think he's going to have a good event. What about you, Panger? Who do you have in this one?
In Group C?
Yeah.
Oh, we've already established that. I'm Scott Martin.
Oh, you're Scott.
Because
he has 3 wins, which apparently don't count as history.
Okay. Didn't say it didn't count as history. I'm saying somebody who had more history on the place. You're counting more wins as more history, but more history is more history.
I'm weighting history differently. I'm putting a lot of weight on the wins.
But Ike probably still has more wins than Scott on that place overall. And Tuesday night tournaments do count as wins because the W's a W, as Todd well knows.
I mean, Ike and Ellie did win a top 150.
I mean, from a guy who doesn't win, wouldn't understand that.
So let's go to Group D.
I got D.
That got real
I got
awkward.
D.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Todd.
So I got a stat for y'all. This is great. This is my first stat in 4 years ever. Okay, I'm picking this guy.
Panger's proud now.
I'm picking this guy for this one stat. He ain't never let me down. Taco E2. That's my stat. He's freaking he's whatever for whatever. He's 10 for 10, 11 for 11. He's never let me down.
Have you guys actually recognized how great his English is?
Dude, he's awesome. He's the funniest guy on tour.
He is. He is. He's completely funny. I watched it and from the last event, and he's awesome.
Dude, I don't even smile, right? Dude, I watch him. I smile the whole time he's fighting fish and talking. He's awesome, dude. And he makes me beat Matt Panger in every fantasy now because I just pick him nonstop. He's my golden boy of fantasy. He's awesome. Smallmouth, Taku.
What about you, Panger? Who you
got? Group D, I'm going with the guys in the biggest slump in the history of his career. The last time he had a top 10 finish was up north. He does have a top 10 in the past on this fishery, and we've seen glide baits play, we've seen largemouth play, we've seen smallmouth play. I got to go with Zaldane in this, even though he's having a very un-Zaldane year. I think his upside is really high.
What about you, Ish?
I'm riding the Todd bus and going Taku because I should have picked him at the last event. Todd told us to pick him at the last event, and we didn't. I'm picking him in this event, going with Taku because he is probably the new funniest guy on tour, and he's awesome. And I love the fact that he carries special white powder with him to every event.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hey, he says it's special. He doesn't say what it is, just special white powder, and the guys have fun with it.
You can go through TSA with a breeze with that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mess up the trend. I went Taku as well because how do you not go Taku? I mean, just truly, like he's so consistent. And he's at almost 60% owned, which I don't know if I've ever seen anybody quite that high.
Well, why is he in Group D?
Do what?
Is he having that bad of a year overall?
No, I don't think. Doesn't it show your ranking? Like
he's in 39th. I think it's they did a little bit of tomfoolery because they put Kennedy in the A group too, which is
right.
He shouldn't have been there. They kind of mix it around a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So let's go Group E.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ish, lead us off. Who you got?
I knew you were going to pick me first because everybody's thinking that I'm picking that guy, and I'm not. picking that guy. I am picking, he's not my buddy, but he is my all-time hero.
Oh, you're
my
going that.
hero. I'm going hero status. To me, one of the greatest fishermen of all time. I started bass fishing because of this dude. He showed Joey Fuentes how to fish. They're together. He's my hero. Him and Denny Brower are definitely on the same level on that list as heroes, and it's Larry Nixon.
I like it.
The general. Because he's due. He's honestly, I think, I'm not sure if this is going to be one of his last events, but, you know, he's fared well in Champlain before, and I can see this guy just worming his way super slow and easy, catching smallmouth and largemouth mix and having a mixed bag coming in with a big sack and winning the event.
I like it. Well, who you got, Panger?
I'm going with another guy who's due. He top 12'd it in 2007. I got to spend some time with him recently in person. He seems like he has a little bit of a rejuvenated attitude, and I fully expect a top 10 on history, on largemouth, Bradley Hallman.
I like it.
B-Hall, I like it.
How about you, Todd?
Man, I think everything smallmouth. I think the smallmouth deal. I don't know, man. I got to pick Josh Douglas, but I don't know if Josh, no offense, I'm looking through this deal looking to see. I was just going to pick the best live scoper on here. That's what I was going to do. And I don't know who that is. So I just picked a guy that I know can catch him. I fished with Josh a lot. Not with him, but, you know, like we fished against him and stuff. No one stands out. I mean, Josh, this one was a hard one for me.
Well, I'm equally hard for me. I've really struggled in this particular one. I leaned Larry Nixon from the last time that I picked him, which was the last event at St. Clair. He obviously did not have the event that he wanted to have there. But I actually went Caleb Kupal. Obviously, he's from up north. I don't know how much time he spent on Champlain, but I do think that he will have a good event. So it was between him and Micah Frazier, truly, for me. But I went Kupal. So.
Micah would have been a good pick, too.
Yeah. So is Ed Lochran in that group. Ed has a lot of history on that fishery-ish, and he's buddies with all those guys that are up from that neck of the woods. And he's done well there.
Ed's where in the point standings right now?
He's in 90.
Keep scrolling.
But he's had good finishes in that, and that's his style. And he's shown that he can catch them up there.
Yeah, but usually when you're down, and I'll tell you, when I'm down that low in the standings, you're not caring about the win. You're just trying to strive to get through the end of the season and move on. And so I'm just saying that would not have been my pick. Like I said, I like the Micah deal. I definitely, the Caleb deal. But
Micah's in 93rd. He's below Kupal.
Yeah,
or
but
he's below Lochran. He's below Lochran.
Yeah, but Micah still, his attitude is different. Being around that guy, being on tour so much, he just has a different attitude when it comes to being down there. He wants to get out of that hole because, once again, they're doing cuts, and you don't want to be that guy on the cut line.
No doubt. I agree with that. All right. One of our viewers' favorite time is picking the winning weight. I think it's going to be a little different. But it could be bigger different just for the fact of the water being higher. A largemouth might be in play a little bit more than usual. But if anything's super consistent right now, that is going to be forward-facing sonar with smallmouth. So, and that's been what's been dominating up there for the last few years, for sure. Panger, lead us out. What do you got winning weight-wise? And tell us why, because I know you're going to.
Tell us the history behind the weight. The history behind the weight.
I got 87.9. I did look at the weather. I think it'll be consistent. You'll see some 20+ pound bags of largemouth out of tie. You don't have any crazy wind days. You don't really have any weather. So I think, you know, that 4 pound smallmouth, you're seeing those smallmouth weigh a little bit more. So I think 21.5, 22 a day gets it done. So I went 87.9.
What do you got, Todd?
83.6.
Huh. I like it. What do you got, Ish?
81.9.
I went 83.1.
Wow,
So,
I'm way out of the ballpark.
Well, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if they.
Here's honestly what I do over the last 2 years. Whatever you think it is, add 5 pounds for live scope.
Is that what it is?
Forward-facing sonar.
So I'll probably change mine to 86.9.
I agree with that. That like,
yeah.
I think St. Clair showed too. You know, like it doesn't matter what the history is. Everyone they're catching more, and the average is going up for all of them, and so
right.
It's just so if the average goes up for everyone, it's going to go up for the winner as well.
Yep.
I agree with that. So who do we think is going to win this tournament? Who you got, Todd? Who's winning this event? I'll let you lead it out.
I can still go with my pick because he can win. I mean, there's a big difference now between guys that can win and guys that can make top fives. Brian Schmidt's a winner. Brian Schmidt can win it. I mean, he's won a lot of tournaments, man. And not Tuesday nighters. Maybe he has, but I mean, what has he got? 5 Toyota wins? How many elite wins does he have? I know he's got at least 1.
3. I think he's got 3.
Yeah, I mean it's
either 2. It's 2 or 3. 2 or 3 elite wins.
Are you saying that's strong, man?
Yeah, I mean 3 elite wins is hard.
Hard.
What do you got, Ish? Who you got winning this tournament?
I got Spike. I got Spike and Ellie. I mean, God, how long has it been since he's had a win? You know, in general.
The last Open on
2 years ago?
No, 3 years ago to get in the Classic out of Lake Erie.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm due to see he's got a great attitude. He's fishing good. He's fired up, and he's on his pond. I mean, that could be a bad thing too because of his history on the place. He could get spun sideways, just, you know, trying to run too much in 3 days, 2.5 days of practice. But I'm picking Spike to win.
For sure. I'm actually going Taku to win this one.
All smallies, huh?
Yep, all smallies. I think he wins it. And the smallies have weighed heavier. Most of the guys have gone up.
They have.
I mean, it's just the consistency of 20-pound bags is really hard to beat up there with smallmouth. And that guy.
Well, here's the big question. You know, when we first started going to Champlain, there was loads of those 20-pound bags of smallmouth. I mean, 3/4 of the field had a 20-pound bag of smallmouth. You know, those fish didn't go anywhere.
No.
Now all of a sudden they're popping back up, or is it just the largemouth aren't playing as good?
I think, you know, the mixture of the
scope.
Sonar that we have and everything and the evolution of the sonar has really
brought it back.
Yeah, I mean, those fish never left; they just relocated, and now they're being picked off. So
right. I mean, for a while, you had an 18-pound bag of smallmouth each day. You still made a check. Well, but I know when we first went there, I weighed a 20-pound bag of smallmouth 2 days in a row and didn't get a check.
Yeah, and I really think that you're going to see, you know, like when Scott won, you know, he would catch like a random like couple big ones, and I remember he had like a 24-pound bag one day, and then he'd back it up with like an 18 or 19, and you see that kind of change through time. Fishing, like true fishing on Champlain, I don't know if a guy can go bust 20 plus every single day for 4 straight days catching largemouth. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it would have to be, everything would have to line up for you. And it's not, the variable is not there for forward-facing sonar with smallmouth. Like, if they figure out where those 4-pound smallmouth, 5-pound smallmouth are, they're going to catch them every day.
Right.
And you know, they have endless amounts of boulders to go hit, and you don't have endless amounts of grass beds that might have a big largemouth or two in them. So
right.
it's just
But the water is up.
Water is up. It's gonna play. There's no
what's
doubt.
the name?
John Cox is gonna have a field day.
Up north is gonna play because those fish when water gets up there, they're gonna get in that creek. They're definitely up north is gonna play for sure because those fish always migrate from out there in the middle to the reeds when that water gets high.
And Denny taught us that years ago whenever he won up there flipping the reeds. So when that water gets high, they get in that creek and they're the guys that know it, and they're going to go crush on them. And that's why I think Clark Wendlandt, there's a chance Clark Wendlandt goes up there and just straight blisters them just because he's seen it before.
Yep.
So, and Scott's the same way. Who do you got, Panger? Who do you think wins?
Just based on everything that you guys just said, Stephen Kennedy.
Ooh.
Steve Kennedy's going to win, and here's why. Because of the forward-facing sonar, because of the offshore, you're going to have a bunch of guys that have been beat with largemouth before that are going to be off there. A lot of guys that typically would have gone up there aren't going to go up there. Kennedy always does that. Yep. He's frogged. He's top 10. And you guys forget, if you do want to go back on history, Casey Scanlon won in 2019 on largemouth, and that was a big smallmouth dominated derby, and he had a couple 20-pound bags.
That one was dominated by smallmouth?
There was a lot of smallmouth caught that were in the top there, but he won it primarily on largemouth. I think he might have had all largemouth.
Event, though?
Yeah.
Back then it was a 4-day.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it was 100% a 4-day.
Was that a Toyota or was that a?
That was a tour event. Remember that was the one where he was fishing and like 95 kayakers literally came like next to his boat and he's just standing there. I mean, it was like the greatest clip ever.
Awesome.
But anyway, that's why I'm going with Steve.
I like it. So you think Steve's making the run, huh?
I think Steve's going to make the run. Last time he was there, in 07, 08, he was taking that frog and he was painting all the little white spots blue. So he had a black and blue frog. He was changing the tails out. He loves the largemouth deal.
I will say this. I did get on a largemouth bite down there one time when it was still good.
Way overthinking it. Like, I gotta paint the spots blue so that they get, so I have a black and blue frog. Yeah.
You can tell me and Ish are the frog fishermen.
Yeah.
Hey, what color frog you gonna throw, Ish? Well, I'm gonna throw black or white. Like,
I mean, in a bluegill pattern when they're on bluegill beds.
Or a black and white one.
Or a black and white one, yeah. They'll see it. They'll see it one way or the other.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on. Guys, do not forget that we are going to go live next week for the final Bassmaster Open Pros Pick'em. Stay tuned. Check out everybody's social. Figure out when we're going to go live. Todd Castledine on YouTube, social media. Matt Pangrac, Bass Talk Live. And I promise you, he's probably going to say it on Bass Talk Live when we're going live, just to make sure y'all stay tuned.
I will.
And Fish for Ish and every other various platform that he's on, his website, his social
Twitter,
media,
Instagram, Facebook, all the good stuff.
Guys, I appreciate it, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
See ya. Peace.